Now, the population of African immigrants has grown over the years in many U.S. states and cities in recent years. An increasing number of immigrants of African descent are seeing the need to also play a role in policymaking through elective offices. Lydia Daniel is one of them. The native of Nigeria is running for the Prince George's County Democratic Central Committee in the eastern state of Maryland. Ms. Daniel, welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome. Now, first thing, what motivated you to want to run?
Well, I'm not a politician, but I've always been involved in civic action. I believe that unless we get our voices and ourselves into the room, we can't really affect the policies that adversely affect our communities at a higher level than other aspects of American culture. My particular district, there's about 7% sub-Saharan Africans, and I believe that we're not being represented at the level that we should be. I think perhaps that's because we're not engaging at the level that we should be engaging. And so I feel I am in a specific place where I can not only understand the struggles of the African immigrant, but I can also project their voices and make that voice louder.
Could it also be that the African immigrant community seems to be kind of cut off from the rest of the society around them, in that they kind of organize around community things, around immigrant issues, and not engaging more with the rest of their neighbors?
Yes. We have a lot of community organizations, like you said, that center around where you're from in a particular country in Africa. But I've seen a kind of movement now where we're getting together. Recently, UPAC had an event that invited people who were running for office from all over Maryland, and it involved many African groups. So it wasn't just Hausa or Igbo, or if you're from Senegal, it involved a lot of us. And I think that there's a movement now that is really changing the way that we're thinking about things. It's a time now where we can't just sit back and hope things will change for us. We have to be much more proactive in how we engage in the legislative process. And I think that we're starting to do that now. And I'm also seeing there are more African immigrants that are actually running for office, which is...
Break it down a little bit. What are some of the issues that are important to you that you think a person like you being at the table will make a difference in?
Well, for example, in Maryland, the top two issues are education. Maryland used to be the #1 state, and now it's at #8. Healthcare, and I would add immigration to that. As I said, I'm not a politician, but I'm a mom. I'm not a politician. I'm a mother. I'm an entrepreneur. I have a small business. I graduated from law school. I'm a naturalized immigrant. So all of these things kind of give me that edge. I know what our community is like. We're hardworking people. We're educated people. We tend to be insular sometimes because we are weary of engaging in the political system, especially now with the rhetoric that's going on. But I think that the greatest thing about us is that we're very tenacious. We're very hardworking. We don't give up very easily. And whenever I talk to people from Africa, they come here because they want a better life for themselves and for their children. And they come here educated, and they work 2 to 3 jobs. And that kind of tenacity, that character, that spirit, that grit, I think has been instilled in me by my parents. And I think that that is what I can bring to my constituents if I'm elected.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that will be something that also benefit to the community. But very quickly, you keep kind of distancing yourself from the level of politicians. You know, when someone is running and there's office, it's a politician.
Right.
Why do you have a little bit discomfort with that word?
I think politics, or I guess the concept of politician now has become kind of in this current atmosphere, people kind of shy away from it. And I guess my point is, I'm just an ordinary woman. I'm
An
just
ordinary
an ordinary person
running for political
running
office.
for political office, worrying about my daughter's school and how I'm going to pay for it, and about her health care. And I want her to grow up in a world where it's not an anomaly that a northern Nigerian woman would be running for office. I want it to be the norm.
Actually, we'd like to talk about that next time. Northern Nigeria, that's critical. But you know what? I want to thank you very much for coming on today and talking to us.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you so very much.
All right. So that is Lydia Daniel. She's running for the Prince George's County Democratic Central Committee in the state of Maryland here in the United States.